Good morning, good afternoon, depending on which part of the world you're in at this moment, in which region. I wish to thank on behalf of the Ethics, Culture and Social Responsibility Department here at UNWTO Madrid, the UN Global Compact, for giving us this great opportunity to share our vision of an inclusive response to COVID-19 and vulnerable groups when it comes to tourism development. My name is Igor Stefanovic, and I'm a technical coordinator at the Ethics, Culture and Social Responsibility Department. And our department in the organization advocates for social sustainability, social responsibility and ethical practices of the private sector and all other stakeholders in the tourism sector, including the governments, including the travelers community, and of course the private sector already mentioned before. We came up with different vulnerable groups during this crisis, not in a systematic way from the very beginning, saying these are the groups that will be hit and we need to issue recommendations. We were listening more to the beat and to the pulse of the tourism industry, and we were also receiving the feedback of our communities that we work with to see what's really happening on the ground, what are the real issues of the tourism development and vulnerable groups. Women were the first group that we really defined as the hardest hit because we realized that they make up the majority of the tourism workforce, but they will also be the ones taking care of their families, of the elderly, of their children, of the people who get sick in their communities. They will be in furlough, they will be out of jobs in all this period, and in many countries women make up the majority of the workforce, not only at the global level, but also in many countries. At the global level, it's 54%, according to our global report on women in tourism, and in many regions, this figure might be much higher. Many women are often involved in informal economy when it comes to tourism development, so we need to provide them with some urgent aid to survive in this difficult period, because there is no tourism, there are no visitors, there is nothing really happening in their communities. Many of these women are in the global south, and the global south will be affected when it comes to climate to the winter period and also a rainy season in some countries. So some communities will be really severely hit by this crisis and the pandemic, and women need to be given leadership positions. It's not only now in the tourism industry that is always a problem in the tourism industry to have women in leadership positions. We also need women to be leaders of the recovery process, of the immediate response. We've seen in many countries that women were maybe more effective when it comes to political leadership in responding to COVID-19. The future will say whether that's true or not, because we don't have really the precise data. We only have the perceptions that we can bring up to the table now. But women need to be participants of the recovery, of the immediate response to COVID-19, because many women are not only engaged in informal jobs, they're also leading their companies, many SMEs in the tourism sector that make up the majority of the sector when it comes to types of companies. And SMEs and entrepreneurial skills are very important now, because women need